Hey everyone, it's John again here to play some Immaculate Grid. I think I had a split game yesterday, decent time score, and then botched the Rarity on. I think one of them it was like Toronto and Texas or something like that. But basically, I want to say Toronto and Texas, and I used my what would be my kind of go-to because I was just thinking about it and I just was like the first name that came to my head, and I'm just like, oh man, I need someone else. And I didn't even think to use Marcus Simeon, but of course he would have been like 60%. So it was not the best game. But we shall see how I do today. I'm gonna share my screen. I got my clock up. I'm ready to play. And I'm just gonna go for both at once and see how this goes. All right. Bream. This one's usually really high. Gerald Williams. That's probably too low. And let's see, Ozzie Guillen works. Kiner, Hank Aaron, Henry Aaron, I should say. Sammy Sosa. Let's go Higuera here. I believe Garrett Cole did have a season there. And then for the White Sox, I'm going to go Esteban Loaiza. Bam. 101 in 42 seconds. That's pretty good. Timed version, that was pretty good. That was pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that one. I even scored a pretty low rarity score there with Gerald Williams. Sid Bream takes 26% up here. I think I did look at this once, and I think I've got one that'll work better there. But I think, is it just because he scored the winning run for the Braves against the Pirates in the 92 NLCS, and people just remember he played for both teams for that reason? Because these are both old teams. There's got to be more overlap. Reggie Sanders works just as an example. Um, yeah, interesting. There's not going to be a lot of options for that one. Carlos Santana works. He hit his 300th home run this season, though. Anyway, let's 43 seconds. I'm pretty happy with that. So let's stop sharing and start sharing. It's low value production, guys. All right, and this was the timed round yesterday. So now we get to be a little bit more, I guess I'm switching them up, but we get to be a little bit more methodical. I believe the player's name I'm thinking of is Dick Cole. He hits both teams. Yeah, that's a good percentage. Look at that face. I think that's what I remembered. Look at that look in his eyes. He's just like just a weird picture. No offense, I'm sure he was a great guy. Let's see here. Gerald Williams was a pretty good pick. I think Wickman will work. Um, Ben Sheets will work. Ben Sheets will work a lot better for Braves and A's, but he played a lot longer for the Brewers. Henry Aaron, I think it'll be the most popular. Um, Looking down here though, what do we think of Dave Martinez? I know he hits both teams. So he goes 0.1. And actually, I mentioned Reggie Sanders, but he'll definitely work here. Goes 0.5 for the Pirates. And let's see. This is where I wish I had like a position player who threw a scoreless inning or something handy. I don't think I have that, but I do remember Mr. Ed Morris seemed to put together some good seasons. Got to get the right one though. 1884 to 1890. He goes 0.05. All right. Um, and if the Brewers, this one I should be able to come with. Will Rowdy Tellez work? He pitched a scoreless frame to clinch the that might be too recent, but he pitched a scoreless frame to clinch the playoff berth for the Brewers this season in a game that ended I think 16-1 or something like that. But yeah, I think I'm pretty sure it was a scoreless inning, so he would work. Higuera and Sheets were both for a full season. Mike Caldwell also works for a full season, but we can go with relievers. Some relievers that'll work include Raleigh Fingers, who I'm not going to go with. Um, let's see, Doug Jones will work. I think Danny Cobb will work. I mean, I actually remember, like, I watched the man pitch. I'm trying to remember if it was Kolb or Cobb, but 04-ish. Yeah, he'll work. I'll say like an Eric Plunk might even work. Trevor Hoffman will definitely work. K-Rod, I think, will work. Francisco Rodriguez. He'll also work for 300 batting average because he went 1 for 2 one season with the Brewers. I want to say like Bill Wegman had a 2.95 ERA one season. And like Chris Bosio, I think, might have done something similar. Cal Eldred in his first season was lights up. I think people might remember that. That was a pretty excellent performance. Jeff D'Amico would also work. 2000. He was just over the threshold. So I've listed out a bunch of people. Which one to go with is the question. Also, Dan Plesac will work. Well, how about I got one because he was like the setup man to Dan Plesac, I believe, right around the time I was born. How about Chuck Krim? There's a good score, 0.07. I knew if I listed relievers long enough, I'd come up with someone like Chuck Krim. All right, and then yeah, for the White Sox, we could go all the way back to like Eddie Seacoat. I think he'll work. Um, and yeah, 300 home runs. I gotta believe Frank Thomas is going to be high here. Albert Bell is going to be high here. I'm not sure if Abreu's gotten there yet because he's only been playing since 2014, which I guess is 10 years now. But I don't think he's been averaging 30 home runs per full season per season because there's what was his MVP 2020 campaign is thrown in there. Um, going with but he was on the World Series team. The example I'm thinking of is Neil Kotz. I know he had a really low ERA the year the White Sox won the World Series. He goes 0.2. It's pretty good. So I've got a pretty good score going. I think that one might get me though. Actually, both of these might get me. I should be able to come up with a relatively decent Milwaukee Brewer here. I think Charlie O'Brien actually would work on this one. I believe he played for the Braves. I know Rick Cerrone played for the Braves. I'm gonna go Cerrone since I think I've struck out on both these guys recently. So he goes 0.2. And then people who've played for the Brewers and gotten to 300 career home runs. Aaron, obviously. The all-time leader in career home runs for the Brewers is Ryan Braun, who has a little bit over 300. He eclipsed Robin Yount, who had 250-ish, and Molitor was in the 220s. So you're not thinking of people unless you go Braun, you're not thinking of people known for being Brewers. Some examples of other people that work. Carlos Santana just got there this year. He will work. That happened recently enough that might not be a great rarity score. We mentioned Aaron. Prince Fielder does work. He got to 319, which was a tie with Cecil. Dave Parker played a season with the Brewers. I believe he has 300 career home runs. He's got to have 300 career home runs. Who else? Richie Sexson probably got there, I think. So that'd be an interesting pick. He's well known for the Brewers, though. And then the other name that's sticking out to me is Curtis Granderson. And Granderson was hitting over 40 home runs in his seasons with the Yankees. I think Granderson had 300 to 400 home runs, and he played a little bit during the 2018 season with the Brewers. So let's lock him in. 0.5. So right now I'm at 1.2. If I got a really good one for the White Sox, I might be able to get a score rounded down to 1, which other people in the comments have certainly done. But yeah, I don't know if that's in the cards for the White Sox. You got Frank Thomas. You got Albert Bell. Jose Canseco briefly played for the White Sox. Dick Allen. Al Simmons. I should know this man's career inside and out because I constantly play him in this game. But I'm not 100% on if he got to 300 or not. That'd be an interesting one to look up. Fisk, he'll work. He was in the 370 range. Played there a long time though. I'm not sure on Ventura. Maglio, maybe. I think Dick Allen is the one I'm going to go with. Allen was a bit popular, I guess. Well, not that popular, but 3%. So I guess I wasn't going to. Well, whatever it is, it rounds up to 5. And there were 26 options, so I could have gotten there. I was in a position to get there and must have there were some people that did not occur to me. So we can play this game a little bit. Greg Lazinski, Dick Allen is who I went with. Carlos Lee works. Norm Cash, Rocky yeah. I forgot about Ken Griffey Jr., but I think he was going to be pretty popular. I didn't know George Foster worked. Canerco I knew. Sierra. I didn't realize Ruben Sierra, who I like to play in this game. I didn't realize he got to 300 home runs. He works for all these teams. So keep that in mind. Edwin Encarnacion made a brief stop in Chicago. Did not realize that. Ron Sando. I did know that. Bobby Bonds. Canseco I mentioned. I wonder if he would have been better. Ramirez I'd forgotten about, but I did know that. Burks, I didn't realize Burks got to 350. Fisk I mentioned. Al Simmons did get there, 307. Harold Baines would have worked. Yeah, Jim Thome. I think they were popular. I'm surprised Allen got to 3%. But I mean, who's going to complain about a 5? That's a pretty good score. In fact, this is easily my best game. This is my best game since I started doing both in the same round. So I'm gonna take the win where I can get it, even if I was that close to getting the 1 if I thought of one of those other guys. But Ron Santo might have done the trick. But I'll take a 5. Pretty good. Coupled with 43 seconds. That's as well as I've done in both categories, not to mention just one or the other. So pretty stoked. I'll be back at it tomorrow. Thanks a lot for playing. Episode brought to you by my book, because who else is going to sponsor this kind of thing? Thanks a lot for playing. Have a good night. Peace.